Welcome. Thanks for joining me, astrologer Patrick Arundell, for your in-depth forecast, weekly forecast, for week commencing the 15th of July for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be really grateful if you did so now. This week, put simply, could be one of the most potent and powerful of the whole year. In the first half of the week, we see the Sun in opposition to Pluto. In the second half of the week, it's Venus which is moving into opposition to Pluto. And of course, on Tuesday, we have the partial lunar eclipse in the sign of Capricorn. So that's also in a conjunction with tiny Pluto. Now, overriding this, we also have Mars, the planet of passion, in a right angle with Uranus in the sign of Taurus. So a tremendous amount of activity, and overlaying all of this is the fact that Mercury continues its backward journey and by Friday reverses into the sign of Cancer. So let's go from the very start of this week. The Sun is all about our passion, it's about our drive, it's about our need to express ourselves. In the sign of Cancer, it's asking us to be more mindful of nurturing, of being much more aware of our environment, issues of security, family, and how we interact with other people close to us. Pluto and, of course, the lunar eclipse, however, are in the rather more material sign of Capricorn. This is very much about our role in life, the physical part of security, where we live, and also how we view things like work and status. Now, it's possible that whether a relationship is linked to your personal life, or it's linked to your family, or it's linked to your professional situation, that some kind of challenge can occur this week. The challenge may be entirely internal. It may be something needs to alter, needs to change, and if we resist it, it can cause some problems because Pluto is about change. But equally, someone may be trying to force a change upon us that we don't really want, that we don't feel is fair. For example, it could be an employer who wants to change our terms and conditions in a way which is not very pleasant, and that may be something which naturally we'd want to question, especially if it leads to working less social hours or not earning as much. So someone could try to play a more forceful role this week, and in any kind of relationship there can be the potential to gain or lose, or some kind of readjustment is needed. The readjustment can be entirely inside of ourselves, or it can be in our physical situation that some kind of alteration may be needed. Now, the lunar eclipse is going to provide a backdrop of energy for the last 6 months of this year. And because the solar eclipse of the 2nd of July was very much about nurture, it's how that nurture fits into the more physical parts of our existence. So, for example, if we do want to change where we live, we do want to go for a new job, we want to apply a different set of values, reinforce our boundaries in personal relationships, it's going to create shifts, changes, alterations. And these Teutonic plates, because Pluto is very much about depth, it can be about secrets, it can be about lust, it can be about money. These Teutonic plates are moving in a way which is not necessarily very comfortable. Watch out for someone who doesn't use their power wisely or fairly, but equally be aware of your own tendency to dominate, if you have any. Also in the second half of this week, because Venus is in opposition with Pluto, our desires are going to be ramped up. Now that could be about where we live in this particular axis of energies, Cancer, Capricorn, but it could also be that we meet someone who has a compelling impact on us in a personal or romantic context. It could also have a very strong sexual magnetism. This relationship, if we meet someone this week, can have a massive impact upon us. But also, it is possible that we could encounter someone who's not necessarily going to be very good for us, however captivating we find them to be. With Mars also in that right angle to Uranus, there can be some compulsive energies around spending money, or just doing as we wish when it comes to desires. But with Mercury in that retrograde, the potential for misunderstandings and miscued discussions is very strong. So by the end of the week, as Mercury moves back into the sign of Cancer, where frankly it's not at its happiest, we need to make sure that we continue to articulate how we feel in as clear a way as possible. It can become much more subjective, our thinking and also our communication, on the back of this particular retrograde from the end of this week onwards. Please stay on for your specific forecast for your zodiac sign. For your specific forecast, Virgo, what a powerful week this can be. Your ruler Mercury continues to track backwards, but it moves from an area which has perhaps been creating some doubts and anxieties into one which is much more to do with friendship and fraternity. This occurs on Friday. In fact, it joins up in the sign of Cancer with the Sun and also Venus. Now, on the face of it, the Sun and Venus in Cancer is wonderful for you because it's encouraging you to be much more outgoing. But because Mars, the planet of drive, has been stirring up some debris, some emotional debris, potentially from your past, and this week is in a right angle with Uranus, you may find that even if you do want to focus on your longer term goals, or be more joyful, go out and have fun with your friends, or really gain a much more powerful connection in your love life, it's possible that you could find yourself on the back of some rather compulsive energies, and you may also be much more outspoken and surprise someone with the force of what you have to say. If you are thinking about your long-term future when it comes to a close involvement, about your creative talents, or even about a circle of friends, the second half of 2019 is really pushing you to take a much firmer grip on the tiller of your life direction. The basic premise of being a Virgo is that you're looking for purity, but also you can be very sacrificing. You can give up sometimes what's possibly best for you because you want to do the right thing by others or someone else. While this is a really good quality to have, there is a dividing line, a tipping point, and that's really what this week is about. It's a tipping point between what's good for you and what's good for others. At times you may feel conflicted inside yourself about what to do, but I think the lunar eclipse, which occurs on Tuesday, is really going to push you to take much more seriously about tuning into your true desires, needs, and also potential. And that may mean confronting some darker elements in your situation. In a relationship, anything to do with jealousy, possessiveness, or control may be things that you really have to tackle front on, particularly if you feel that you're on the end of someone else's unreasonable behaviour. But equally, it could be that you need to be a little bit more assertive when it comes to asking for what you want. And if you are, in some ways, permanently giving ground in order to please other people, whether it's a group or a single person, or just what life or society seem to expect as a whole, it's time to tune in what's really right for you. Now, once Mars moves into your sign early in August, you're really going to be empowered, and the second half of that month can be a time when you really bounce back. But this month is asking you to set the goals, set the targets, and start to work towards them. But first of all, you really have to be much more conscious of the politics of your situation and really look into them in the most honest, stark way you can. It's been a real pleasure being with you. As I said before, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel. But equally, You can download a free natal personal horoscope by clicking on the link below. But for now, thanks for joining me, good luck and goodbye.